And now the spiel. Headlines, a little bit about process. People ask me, Mike, where does your inspiration come from? And I say, peyote. No, I don't. I say it comes from many sources. Today, my eye was drawn to a study as issued by Ohio State University. Headline: The Amish are doubling in population every 21 to 22 years. Why? Because Amish adults have a lot of little Amish kids. Now, that was interesting, but is it riffable? Can I put it in a greater context? I found that study on Twitter. I said, okay, but I moved on. Another way I get ideas, I sign up for a lot of emails. I get one from Brookings every day. And then I got this email today about ballot initiatives. Snore. But it's about ballot initiatives about marijuana. So it's like a good kind of mellow kind of snore. So I didn't even know this. Haven't been following the news. Alaska, Oregon, and D.C. all have legalization of marijuana on the ballot. Here's what Brookings says. Polling suggests a real chance that all three proposals may pass. Oregon and D.C. quite likely. Such moves come in the midst of political elites and the public at large changing their orientation on the issue. In both states and D.C., legalizers are better funded than opponents. All right, that's a good fact. I thought it might be talkable. But really, the problem with it is I knew I wouldn't be able to keep myself from doing a dozen marijuana puns, right? A budding political trend. I can't help myself. Legalize marijuana, welcomed with a bang, if not a bong. You see, I can't stop once I start. Yes, we cannabis on ballot measure 91. So this is why I'm not doing it in the show, because you don't want and you don't need more of that. But today, the absolute best way for me to get riffable fodder from the day's news couldn't be easier. It was all on the front pages. The front pages of the New York tabloids had all the great news. Like here in the New York Times, here's a headline: Lobbyists bearing gifts pursue attorney generals. And the way they illustrate this is about how this one big lobbying firm, what's it called? Dickstein Shapiro, wines and dines attorney generals, and then the attorney generals don't look into Dickstein Shapiro's clients. But it's all illustrated with one company, 5 Hour Energy. And they had this 5 Hour Energy executive moving quickly to shut investigations down, going one state at a time. They have her setting her sights on Attorney General Chris Koster of Missouri. They have this lawyer courting the attorney generals at dinner, at conferences, stuffing gift bags for the attorney generals, quote, aggressively pursuing the attorney generals. They have them tirelessly working. They say they're indefatigably pursuing. They're doggedly nudging. I have to tell you, 5 Hour Energy could not have asked for a better advertisement than the verbs they use to describe the lawyers from 5 Hour Energy. So, my takeaway, 5 Hour Energy, was it nefarious? Maybe. Were they duplicitous? Probably. Were they aggressively, eye-poppingly, in-your-facedly energetic? Hells to the yeah. Next headline. Again, I don't have to do anything today except look at the headlines. The Daily News. The story was the State Court of Appeals approves a marriage between relatives, in this case an uncle and a niece. You win the headline of the day contest, Daily News, because the headline is, Speak Now or Forever Hold Your Niece. State Court of Appeals approves marriage between half-uncles and half-nieces. Despite the ick factor, a union between a half-uncle and a half-niece is not incestuous under New York's domestic relations law, according to a Court of Appeals ruling. All right, I got it, but a half-uncle? What the heck's a half-uncle? It's the sort of phrase I'd never heard before. I bet you'd never heard it before, but as soon as you hear it, you get it. Not because of the way the Daily News describes it. The bride's grandmother was also the groom's mother. The groom, however, had a different father than the bride's mother. That's not helpful. What's a half-uncle? It's your parents' half-sibling. That's your half-uncle. Maybe this guy married your aunt. Maybe this lady married your dad. So a half-sibling. There's genetics involved, but only half the genetic code of a full uncle. But if there's a half-uncle, should there be a word in the language halfuncular? Halfuncular. Someone who gives advice, but like their heart's not really in it, right? They might say neither a borrower nor a lender be, but you know what? If you want to do it, whatever. That's someone who would be halfuncular. Now, to the last headline. This was a headline in all the papers, World Series Game 7. We talked about this at the beginning of the show. And that means tomorrow there's no baseball. Tonight, a great game, we hope. Tomorrow, no baseball. Summer will turn to fall. The leaves will change. The boys of summer will recede into that cornfield of our imagination. Actually, that's not what it means. What it means is the death of the world's worst commercials. Because with a baseball game comes radio ads that are just terrible. They think all you have to do is tie the ad into baseball, right? Hit a home run with BP gas, or swing for the fences with Nationwide Insurance, or hi, I'm Alan Trammell. A lot of people come into second with their spikes up. But now Spike TV is up to a night of programming you won't want to miss. Or, hi, I'm Leon Durham. I used to swing an extra bat in the on-deck circle, but your deck shouldn't be trusted with anything less than Thompson's water seal. All right, so baseball commercials are the worst. Actually, they're not the worst. I found another worst, a new low. An advertiser so desperate to shoehorn their way into relevance that they embarrass themselves. This is the nadir of this phenomenon. It's Pandora advertising. You wouldn't think it would be so hard to cut an ad that fits in well with music advertising, but some companies just try way too hard, right? So let's play this ad. That is just a really weird way of expressing why we listen to music. Indulging my senses? Maybe one sense, definitely not taste. All right, but let's say I'm on board enough to buy your premise and to say, I listen to Pandora to indulge my senses. All right, where are you going with this? Where are you going with this ad? Oh my God, there was no other connection to buying a car? Isn't there a rock group, The Cars? Aren't there songs about cars? I think I listened to something called Cadillac Ranch. Okay, not Lexus Ranch, but that was just trying way too hard. That was the Leon Durham of Pandora commercials. So remember, this is Mike Pesca saying you download a podcast every day, and please keep on doing this. Don't make this podcast your pod last. And that's it for today's show. As the producer of The Gist, Andrea Salenzi knows what it means to get to the point on topics. That's why she uses Hey Glow laser pointers for all her pointing out needs. Joel Meyer, managing producer of podcasts, knows a thing or two about managing. And mangers. That's why he endorses Christian Carl's Manger Assembly Service. 1 donkey, 2 donkey, Christian Carl has them all. Andy Bowers is executive producer of Slate Podcasts. As such, he knows his way around an execution, like with a guillotine. And that's why he drives a Lexus. It slices through traffic and heads off repairs. You can subscribe to The Gist in iTunes and give us a listen on Stitcher. You can get our daily email at slate.com/gistemail or the app Yo, which if you download, subscribe to podcast and we'll let you know when the show posts. We're on facebook.com/slategist. Again, the Halloween offer. If a goblin comes to your door on Halloween, please take a picture of said goblin. Put it on facebook.com/slategist. You will win a prize. Or you can email the gist at slate.com. I, Mike Pesca, have been known to inhale and exhale. And speaking of exhale, I could no longer endorse Hale and Hearty soups. Their corn chowder ratios are all off. Their cream of mushroom, I question. Cream near mushroom. Cream in mushroom, but cream of mushroom? That's why I'm endorsing Steve's Soups. Steve's Soups! They come with a spoon. Thanks for listening.